So students, this is the continuation of last class of periodic table. Now first of all we are going to discuss the position of an element in our long periodic table. How to find period and group of an element, it will be discussed here. The position of an element in a period will be, during the electronic configuration of an element, total number of cells denotes the period of that element. Suppose oxygen, atomic number 8, and electronic configuration of oxygen is 2 and 6. The cell used here K and L. The total number of cells used is 2. That's why the period of oxygen will be 2. Again we look another element, that is phosphorus 15. The electronic configuration of phosphorus is 2, 8, 5. The number of total cells used here 3, 1, 2, 3. That's why the period of phosphorus is 3. Now the group is described also. If number of electrons present in last orbit are 1 and 2, if number of electrons present in last orbit are 1 and 2, then it will be the group of that element respectively. If one electron is present, then group will be 1. If two electrons are present in last orbit, then the group will be 2. Here oxygen has 6 electrons and phosphorus has 5 electrons in last orbit. So we take another element like calcium, K, L, M, N. Now we have to write the electronic configuration of calcium: 2, 8, 8 and 2. So 20 is covered. Now number of electrons present in last orbit is equal to 2. That's why group will be 2 and period will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear? And if the number of electrons present in last orbit is more than 2, then we have to add 10. Now look at this. Here number of electrons present in last orbit is 5. So we have to add 10 to find the group of phosphorus, that is 15. Now period will be 1, 2 and 3. Therefore when we go through the period on third level, and when we go along the group, then on 15th group phosphorus will be there. And for oxygen the number of electrons is 6. That's why group of oxygen is 6 plus 10, that is 16, and the period be 1 and 2, that is 2. Now we are going to discuss some special description of long periodic table, where stair step diagonal are there in long periodic table, where staircase are like this. The staircase is belongs to the suborbit P from group 13 to group 18. The left side of the staircase, metals are there, and the right side of the staircase lie non-metals. Some metalloids are there to touch the staircase, like SN, stannous, stannic or stannum. Actually this metal is stannum. The higher oxidation state of this metal is known as stannic, and the lower oxidation state of this metal is known as stannous. And the bismuth, they are the metalloids. Now there presents some bridge elements, where the elements in second period have same property with the element of third period. Lithium has diagonal relationship with magnesium. Same beryllium has diagonal relationship with aluminium, and boron has diagonal relationship with silicon. This diagonal relationship is described by using electron affinity, electronegativity, ionization energy. This topic will be discussed after describing some common properties of elements. Here lithium and magnesium has same physical and chemical property. Beryllium and aluminium has same physical and chemical property, and boron and silicon has same chemical property. That's why they are in a relation which is known as a diagonal relationship. Now we are going to discuss some common periodic properties of element. The first periodic property is atomic radius. Now we are discussing what is atomic radius. The distance between nucleus and the last orbit of the element is known as the atomic radius. The drawing is like that. The nucleus is here of an element, and the last orbit is drawn. The distance between nucleus and the last orbit, and this is the nucleus. The distance between the nucleus and the last orbit is known as atomic radius. Now we are going to discuss the change or variation of atomic radius across a period or and along a group. Now we are considering period 3, where the elements are sodium, aluminium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. But we are not taking argon here, since van der Waals radii are calculated for inert element. Now the size of atomic radius depends upon two factors. One is the number of orbits, and the second one is the nuclear charge. If the number of orbits increases, then the atomic radius will also increase. If the nuclear charge increases, then the atomic radius will decrease, since the attraction force among the protons and electrons increases. That's why atomic radius decreases. Now for period 3, the electronic configuration of magnesium is 282 and the electronic configuration of chlorine is 287. Here the last cell used is M for both case. That's why the number of orbits is unchanged, but the nuclear charge, magnesium has 12 protons and 12 electrons in it, and chlorine has 17 protons and 17 electrons. Since the number of electrons and protons are there is less than that of chlorine, that's why nuclear charge is greater in chlorine. That's why the attraction force between electrons and protons are greater to that of magnesium. That's why atomic radius will decrease. So we conclude that the atomic radius across a period decreases. But along a group, now we are considering the group 17, where fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine are there. Here the number of orbits used to describe the electronic configuration are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means last electron of fluorine belongs to second orbit and the last electron of iodine belongs to fifth orbit. That's why here the number of orbits increases. So we can say that atomic radius along a group increases. Now we are going to discuss the second periodic property, that is ionization potential or ionization energy. So what is ionization energy? The minimum energy required to remove the loosely bounded electron of an element from its outermost orbit of an isolated gaseous atom is known as ionization energy. So we take an element M in its gaseous state. Now the minimum energy is supplied to that atom to form a monopositive cation, and the loosely bounded electrons are removed from here. The energy here is known as ionization energy. Now we are discussing about the variation of ionization potential or energy across a period. The ionization energy depends upon the factor, that is atomic radius. Since the atomic radius decreases across a period, so the minimum energy required to remove the electrons from its outermost shell is greater to that of the left side element or metal. We are taking the third period, where the first element is sodium and the last one is argon. Since the atomic radius decreases and the nuclear charge also increases, so attraction force between the electrons and protons are greater for argon to that of sodium, and that's why the minimum energy required to remove the electrons from argon is greater. So we can conclude that ionization energy increases across a period from left to right. Now along a group, we are taking group 15 element here. The atomic size from top to bottom increases. So the electrons, which is loosely bounded for bismuth, is far apart from the nucleus of bismuth to that of sodium. Since the last orbit of sodium is 2 and the last orbit for bismuth is 3, 4, 5, 6. So the loosely bounded electron is set at 6th orbit. That's why nuclear attraction force between nucleus and the electron present at 6th orbit is very much weaker. That's why minimum energy required to remove the loosely bounded electron for bismuth is very much low. So we conclude that along a group, ionization energy decreases. The unit of ionization energy is electron volt per atom and kilojoule per mole. The elements which have highest ionization energy is helium and the lowest ionization energy has cesium. Though the next topic of the periodic table or periodic properties we are going to discuss, that is electron affinity. Now we are going to discuss the next periodic property, that is electron affinity. So what is electron affinity? The element has, suppose the electronic configuration with diagram 2, 8, 1. Now we are adding one electron in its last orbit. When we add one electron, then some amount of energy released from the atom, and this energy is known as electron affinity. So the definition of electron affinity will be the amount of energy released when an electron is added to the last cell of an isolated gaseous atom to make it a mononegative anion. This energy is known as electron affinity. When we add one electron to an element, suppose M, at its gaseous state, then it will convert it into a negatively charged anion, and some amount of energy will be released during this process, and this minimum energy is known as the electron affinity. So we are going to discuss the factors on which electron affinity depends. First of all, the atomic radius, and the second one is nuclear charge. If atomic radius increases, then the last orbit of that atom is far apart from the nucleus. That's why the last electron added on the last cell is placed here if the last cell be 4. That's why the distance is greater than that of for second orbit. That's why the attraction force between the new electrons and the nucleus is lesser here than that of in the second case. So we conclude that electron affinity of an element increases if the atomic radius is smaller. If the atomic radius is greater, then the electron affinity will be decreases. So atomic radius when increases, then the electron affinity of that element decreases. Now we are going to discuss the nuclear charge factor. if the positive charge at the nucleus increases, then the attraction force between the upcoming electron and the nucleus be greater than that of the nuclear charge lesser on the nucleus. That's why in the second case, lesser attraction force act than that of in the greater nuclear charge. So now we can say that if nuclear charge increases, the electron affinity of that element will also increase. The unit of electron affinity is same as the unit of ionization potential. That is electron volt per atom and kilojoule per mole. The variation of electron affinity across a period, when we write any period, that is period 3 from sodium to argon, then we get that atomic radius decreases across a period. That's why electron affinity will increase, and along the group from fluorine to astatine, the atomic radius increases. That's why electron affinity of elements decreases. Since the distance between the nucleus and the last orbit increases, so the upcoming electrons from the nucleus is far apart. That's why for fluorine, attraction power between the upcoming electron and the nucleus is greater than that of astatine. That's why electron affinity decreases along a group. Now we are going to discuss the some abnormalities or some exception of electron affinity. Though chlorine is after the fluorine along a group, but fluorine has lowest electron affinity than chlorine. Similarly, sulfur has greater electron affinity than oxygen, and phosphorus has greater electron affinity than nitrogen. Since I have forgot to say the exception of ionization potential, so I will discuss it here. Exception in ionization energy. Beryllium has greater ionization energy than boron, and nitrogen has greater ionization energy than oxygen. Now we are going to discuss the next physical property, that is electronegativity. So what is electronegativity? electronegativity of an element is measured in a molecule. When an element is attached with another element, suppose A and B, by using covalent bond in a molecule, then the bond pair electron is attracted by any element. It will be A or B. This attraction force to attract the bond pair electron is known as electronegativity. If element A attracts the bond pair electron toward itself, then we can say that electronegativity of element A is greater than that of electronegativity of element B. But electronegativity has no unit. It has no unit. The highest electronegative element in the periodic table, modern periodic table, is fluorine. Highest electronegative element. Now we are going to discuss the factors on which the electronegativity depends. First one is nuclear charge. Second, atomic radius. Third, electron affinity. Fourth, hybridization state. And the last one is the oxidation number. Since these two topics are not in your syllabus, that's why we will not discuss them. For increasing nuclear charge, the attraction power to attract the covalent bond, covalently bounded electron increases. That's why if nuclear charge increase, electronegativity of an element will also increase. If the atomic radius increases, the last orbit of that element will be far apart from the nucleus. That's why to attract the covalently bounded electron will be less. That's why electronegativity will be lesser. If electron affinity is greater, then electronegativity will also increases. Since in electron affinity one electron is added, but here two electron is attracted between two atoms or two element, and the covalently bounded electrons are attracted by any of them. That's why when electron affinity increases, electronegativity of element will also increase. Now we are discussing the variation of electronegativity across a period and along a group. Across a period, nuclear charge increases and atomic radius of element decreases. That's why we concluded that across a period electronegativity increases. As well as along a group, nuclear charge increases, but the atomic radius increases in too much extent to that of nuclear charge. That's why these factor overcome the nuclear charge factor, and hence along a group electronegativity decreases. So hope you are enjoying the class. If you are enjoying the class, then you will like the video and share the video to your friends, and please subscribe the channel also. Have a nice day.